Hey guys and girls, welcome back to another video with ThunkTank. Today we're going to be looking at video 1 of a 3-video series, basically a how-to guide for new players to Rise of the Kings. That's not to say that older players won't benefit from watching this video, because I think a lot of what I'm talking about is cross-applicable to other games. And these games are the real-time strategy games, which are primarily about war, which is why we're all playing it. Like, if we didn't want to do any war, we'd play Farmville. Unfortunately, I think I see a lot of players playing like this is Farmville, and I just want to, I guess provide an alternate view for these people to hopefully help these guys out in being more effective at the game or increase their enjoyment. But if you want to play like Farmville, that's on you. Go for it. So these games, these real-time strategy games, are about war. And that war, we can break it down to combat with other players, we can break it down to diplomacy, and last but not least, and probably most importantly, is time management. Like, I'm really bad at time management outside of the game. In my life, I learned, at university, I could basically pump out a 4,000 word assignment, in 2 nights instead of spending the 1 month I had allocated to do it on it. But when it comes to the game, I think for some reason, I don't know, if you could just gamify life, maybe it'd be better at time management. But in this game, I feel like I'm pretty good at time management. And yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit on it. And I think this is important because if we're looking at my screen right now, we can see we got 1 day build time, 3 hours, 5 hours, 1 hour. But early on this game, the build times are incredibly short. You got 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And if you decide to log out for about 3 hours after starting a 10-minute builds, you're going to get outbuilt, or people are going to progress faster than you, past you, in the same period of time that you guys have been playing. So from the outset, you want to make sure you're on top of your time management in this game. And that's the same for farming tiles, that's the same for building troops, upgrading, all that good stuff. Because you have about 4 weeks till the first kill event, and that first kill event is so important. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet of resources, because a lot of people, that first kill event, they're like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to stick around and play this game, and they're half-assedly harvesting resources. Most of them have about 2 million, 3 million of any type of resource, in their castle, and they just leave it unguarded because they're just like, yeah, I tried it out, not for me, or I don't have enough time, or I don't know what kill event is. Whatever reason, it's just there waiting for you to take. So on that, like, I got 30 million resources this last kill event, which is the first kill event for our kingdom. Other players in my alliance got about 50 million. Others, I'm sure, got more. So there's no comparison to the kill event when it comes to resource acquisition. These little resource tiles on the right are not going to give you the same amount. The farming outside in the city, outside the city in the map, yeah, like, it'll definitely give you some resources, but as far as a day of, farming level 7 tiles versus a day of kill event will always win. But early on, there is a little bit of farming focus that you need to consider, because you want to start getting ready for that first kill event. And because it's not worth killing anything with your T1s, because everybody else has T1s, which means your T1s are going to die just as much as theirs, you want to be focusing more on farming. So spend your resources, get about 45,000 troops, just for farming. Make sure that the meat of those troops are the T2 war machines. Those guys are a beast when it comes to farming. They have a 22 load capacity, and they're probably one of the cheapest units in the game. So they're highly worth it. I have about 42,000. I lost a few during kill event. I need to make another 15,000 because I got my next dispatch here going. So that's an extra march I can send out to farm resource tiles. On that note of farming resource tiles, make sure, like, if you're farming, don't send your troops out for an hour, march there and march back trip, because that's effectively an hour or 2 hours or more that they could be farming. Farm what's closest to you. If you're next to level 5 tiles, farm those, because if you're on and attentive, you'll be able to go through quite a few of those, and they'll actually pay off more than if you send out, a long march to a level 7 tile somewhere. Anyway, going back to the game, help your troops out with farming by going to the Institute and looking at things like overload and stack and other resource gathering things. You also got skills, lower talent skills that you can get I wouldn't really worry too much about plow. I just got bored and wanted to keep my research going. This doesn't really help you out much, just because early on when your resource tiles are like level 10, level 11, they don't really get you much, so I wouldn't really worry about it. Focus more on pumping out troops. These resource tiles are important on building troop marches, but honestly, once you start clearing tiles, that's going to be the primary source of income until the first kill event. So focus more on getting your tents up. So build a good number of tents, a good number of hospital tents, so that you can recover from any kind of hits. You don't need to have 45,000 coverage. You do generally want to be able to cover at least 75% of your army, especially your farming troops. Those guys are really important. And don't worry at all for military research. Before I go into the military research points, I will say try to aim for about a troop building capacity of 500. So here I can do 695. I would say 500 is a good goal to aim for. And the goals we're going to try and hit at the 2-week mark before the first kill event: 45,000 troops for farming. You want to hit about 500, production of 500 troops at a time, if not more. And you're going to want to try to get T6 or T7 troops by the first kill event, but that'll be in the next video. As far as the research goes, I was saying don't invest in this military stuff just yet, because think about it, all these resources you spend on your cruddy little 3% increase in stats, that could have gone into, for looking here in hindsight, I could have put that into my stables, and I'd probably have that at T7s right now. But I didn't. I put it in the 3% stuff, and I guess that's kind of nice, but it's not. You can't say like T6 with 3% boost is better than T7. Like the numbers, 3% is not going to boost a T6 up to that level of a T7. So just keep that in mind. There will be a time and a place for it later on, but early on, not at all. So yeah, I think we're going to leave it there, guys. Remember that you have about 4 weeks to get started with building until the first kill event from the time your server's created. In that time, you want to get about 45,000 farm troops. You want to be clearing level 6 tiles, at least level 5 tiles. If someone tries to convince you to start up in level 4 area, like if you join an alliance and they're like, oh, we're in the level 4 areas, just don't even bother. Like I wouldn't even bother going over there to where their cluster is. Just stick to the edges of the level 5 area, because otherwise you're just going to be handicapping yourself, and you're going to be logging on way too often to farm. And T6, T7 by the first kill event. But we'll talk more about that in the next video. If you guys have any comments, suggestions on the videos I'm making for Rise of the Kings, hit me up, post comments below. And yeah, I look forward to making more videos. Stay tuned, guys. This is ThunkTank out. I'll see you guys next week.